If I can have everyone's attention, we'll continue our media availability this morning. Now joining us is Kyle Busch, driver of the number 18 Interstate Batteries Toyota, currently second in points with 4 wins so far this season. Kyle, talk a little bit about coming into Dover this weekend.
Oh, we ran pretty good here in the spring, so feel like we've got a good shot at being able to run well again here this time around. Just have to be able to do the same things we did then, which is starts here in about a half hour with just getting a good practice session in, being able to get good notes built up, and get a good handle in race car. Obviously, it starts with all of that, being fast, and then running the race here. And it's a long 400 lap race, and the challenges of Dover are always there in front of you, and being on the concrete surface and whatnot. So makes it fun, but yet you got to be around at the end. You got to execute everything all day.
All right, we'll open it up for questions for Kyle. Please raise your hand. We'll get a wireless mic to you. Please state your name and affiliation. We'll start up front with Claire.
Claire Belang, Sirius XM NASCAR Radio. Can you put into perspective how important it is? People always watch the racing and how you do in the race itself to get it right from the very first moment you unload, and what an advantage that is and how important the practices are here.
Yeah, I mean, that's a huge advantage. The better you can come off the truck, the less work you feel like you have to do to get speed out of your car, and the speed's already in it. So then you can just sort of fine-tune right away on balance or trying to find a little bit more speed. But if you already have all the speed and you find a little bit more speed, that just helps your cause. If you're starting behind the 8 ball and having to work your way around it, then it never really seems to get, you never really seem to get yourself all the way to the front or all the way to the top of the sheet, however you want to look at it.
Okay, we'll take our next question also up front from Lee.
Lee Spencer, Fox Sports. What can you say about the type of season Joe Gibbs Racing is having, with having won, first and second in the points standings? I mean, you guys have definitely been the dominant group in the chase hunt this year.
It's early. It's week 2, so I think that's obviously great. We would love to have it that way all the way throughout the chase and be able to end the season on a high with both cars being 1-2. Now we can reverse the order. That'd be okay. But all things considered, I mean, these cars have been really fast all year long. I mean, we unloaded at Daytona and we were super fast there, and then through the season, Phoenix, Vegas, California, Kentucky's, Atlanta's, Richmond's, not so much maybe, but Loudon last week again, we were fast. So, here at Dover in the spring, I felt like the 18 and 20 and the 48 and the 5 were probably, the 5 best cars here. And then, it just came down to circumstances toward the end of the race on how everything played out. But look forward to here, and then, of course, on through.
Okay, we'll take our next question from Jim up front, then go to Jeff and Woody in the back.
Jim Noble, ESPN Sirius. Jimmy Johnson was in here earlier, and he said the question about Kyle has always been, can they keep it together for 10 races in the chase? He added that he thought you could, but is there any question in your mind that you, Dave, the team, TRD, can do this over 10 races now that you've gotten off to a real good start?
Oh, there's only one way to find out, and that's to run these races. So certainly we want to, we need to, you have to, but there's also anything that can happen in this sport, and we've seen that time and time again over the years where you don't expect something to happen, and then all out of the sudden something does happen. So I've literally had things fall out of the sky this year and hit my race car. So, just be ready for anything.
Okay, we'll take our next question from Jeff.
Jeff Gluck from USA Today. Another thing Jimmy said is that he's not letting his guard down as far as the rest of the people in the chase, but he's pretty much just focused on you and Matt right now because you guys are ahead of him. Do you feel the same? Like, do you view it as a 3-man race at this point, or is it too early?
I think it's too early, but also I'm not paying attention to the points. So I could guess who's first, second, and third in points, but I really don't care right now. So we're just with the mindset to continue on the path that we have all year long, and that's to continue to run consistently and to get good finishes. And if we can win, we try to win. But right now it's going to be the guys who are up front each and every week, and certainly it may take a couple wins in this deal to win it. But I've also felt all along that you know, if you finish second every single chase race, then you know, you could have a really good shot at winning a championship that way, and I would certainly take that over a chase win and then following that up by a DNF.
Okay, we'll go Woody, then up to Randy, then back to Jim Utter.
Kyle, just wanted to look ahead a little bit at Kansas with the new tire that we had at Atlanta going back there. Just your thoughts about racing there, and specifically with that tire, how you thought it did and might do there.
Oh, well, I think it's the same. It's not the same tire. It does have the dual zone tread compound, but it's not the same tread compound, I believe. I could be wrong, but I don't think it's the same one we ran in Atlanta. So we went and did a tire test a couple months ago, and I thought that we learned some good things, and you know, it went real well for us, and I think for Goodyear as well too. They changed the left side tire compound, so we're not on that treacherous left that everybody spins out and crashes on, including myself 3 times. And we're also going to be on a new dual zone tread on the right. So I wasn't a huge fan of the dual zone right at Kansas, but you know, it did get great reviews at Atlanta. So you know, I would expect that it'll run pretty well at Kansas as well too.
Okay, we'll take a question from Randy, then go to the back with Jim.
Hey, Kyle, Randy Kovitz, Kansas City Star. This is really the first time in 5 years or more that you've really been in the chase. I mean, a threat to really win this thing. Just kind of talk about how much fun that is, and just I know it doesn't change your driving, but just how does it affect maybe your approach to this part of the season?
Yeah, maybe I know my stats a little more than others, but I think it was 2011, we got through Charlotte, we were 3rd in points. So, you know, we were looking pretty good then. You know, we certainly had a shot for the title. I think there were 5 races left after Charlotte or something like that. And in the next 2, we got wrecked. You know, we went to Talladega, we crashed. And then we went to Martinsville, and we got crashed there. So, you know, it's tough. And, you know, you got to be able to pull through in all these races, and you got to have a little bit of luck go your way. You got to have the execution of everything go your way. Like I said, I mean, it starts with coming off the hauler and getting good practice sessions going, qualifying well, trying to always stay up front. So then, you know, you're not in the back and racing against guys you shouldn't be racing against.
Okay, next question we'll take from Jim in the back.
Jim Utter, Shaw Observer. I was going to ask you, and then you mentioned this quote again about if winning, you could finish second every single race and win the championship. Now, you're a pretty competitive guy, and obviously, if you finished second every week to a different driver, do you think you could manage the disappointment if the payoff was big enough at the end?
Sure. I think I said it last week. I think that if the guy who I lost to in these first 2 races wasn't the same guy or being a chase guy, I think that it would be entirely different right now. You know, so you know, it was the first race at Chicago where I felt like we were the car to beat, and we had great pit strategy. We came off pit road first, and there was that late caution, and on that restart, I look back, you know, I don't think there was anything I could have done differently to have, you know, been able to win that one. I think that just the push from the 29 was too big on the 20 to hold those guys back. So, you know, we lost that one. We finished second. We could have, should have, would have won it, but we finished second. And then with the chase race last week at Loudon, you know, Kenseth was the fastest car there all weekend long, so he deserved to win that race, no doubt. And, you know, we were all just trying to fight for the best position possible that we could get. And I probably should have finished anywhere between 5th to 7th, and we ended up second. So we take a lot of positive out of that, you know, we didn't lose as many points as maybe we could have, and that it was a good, strong finish. It's just it was frustrating because it was second to the same guy both weeks. But, yeah, I mean, if Kenseth wins every single race and we finish second every single race, we're not going to win the championship. So you certainly got to have some different winners in there.
Final question. Okay, we got another question up front with Lee and Jim.
Lee Spencer, Fox Sports. Has there been any change in the structure at JGR to get ready for the chase? Is there anything that you guys have done? We don't see Jimmy Maker as much, you know, out front as we used to. Is there somebody who's kind of taken that role as being the competition director or race director that is really aligning the teams, getting everybody on the same page?
No, Jimmy's still there. Jimmy's still the guy. He's still the competition director. So I don't think there's really been any change. Certainly all the same people are in the same positions. The engineers are all still the same and whatnot. So I don't know that we've done any different preparation this year than we have in years past. Maybe the preparation's just gone to plan, where in years past, obviously, it hasn't gone to plan. You don't plan for sway bar bolts to fall out and fuel pickups to not work and other things in that nature. So I think this year it's just sort of gone the way that you expect it to, and so far so good.
And with Denny being in the position he is, as being one of the most talented guys in the garage, but not exactly on his A game right now, has it helped to have a test driver just to be able to bring you guys additional information to you and Matt that can be helpful?
Sure, definitely. I think it was with us last year. We weren't necessarily trying a bunch of different things, but the different things that we did do, that we did find speed in, it was certainly beneficial to those around us, and it didn't cost us anything. So I feel like Denny's actually been really good in that position. I feel like he's been excited about being in that position because he's come over to our haulers during practices or after practices a couple times this year where he's got, whether it's a set of rear shocks or whether it's a set of front shocks or whether it's a bump rubber or whether it's rear springs, whatever it might be, he seems to find something that he likes and falls on that then he shares with the rest of us. So he wants to see the rest of us succeed, which is great that we've got a teammate like that that's not only working hard for the rest of us, but himself too to end a year on a high note.
Final question, Jim.
Understanding it's a very long chase, do you kind of feel the need to temper enthusiasm at this point? I think everybody keeps reminding us that we're only 2 races into a 10-race chase, and nobody wants to get all goofy about having a great start like you do. But do you kind of seem like you're trying to hold yourself down a little bit? Is that true?
Yeah, a little bit. Certainly I've been in this chase a few times. I haven't been in it consistently every year, but it seems like when I am in it, a lot of the same questions arise. Jimmy might be the guy that gets sick of it more than most because he's in it every single year. But it is sort of one of the same things. We try to get through the first few races and build a strong foundation. And for those that can build a strong foundation, it's usually beneficial to their chase. And the others who sort of start out with a bad couple weeks, that's not so good for their chase. So it all gets jumbled up in the beginning. It all kind of gets mixed together in the middle, and then at the end, you know who the players are going to be. So you just kind of have to. I'd say you wait through Talladega, and once you get past that, you'll know who your players are going to be.
Kyle, thank you very much for your time this morning. Good luck this weekend.
All right.